Coming up on Nittany Game Week.
We're not done yet, and our focus has to shift onto this team that we're going to play because they're going to be really good.
The team they play in the NCAA quarterfinals is a team they beat 3 months ago. Number 1 ranked Princeton. Why PSU could have the advantage in this rematch with the winner heading to the Final Four.
John, Jim, how you doing?
The smallest deed is better than the greatest intention. How a small act of kindness from former Nittany Lions standout Denai Dennis Sutton endears him to the media and Packers fans in Green Bay. And the women's volleyball team is choosing Texas when it comes to a big-time $1 million preseason exhibition tournament. The reason PSU can't lose when they face off with Nebraska, Florida, and SMU in late August. This is Nittany Game Week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski alongside Ryan Yee. Graduation comes and goes. Always a special moment when you receive your degree. Congrats to the 139 athletes that take part in the spring commencement ceremonies.
And an additional 29 walked during the winter ceremony. Grand total of 168 athletes are now officially graduates of PSU.
Great work on and off the playing field for men's lacrosse. The Big Ten champions continued their pursuit of another Final Four. Nittany Game Week's Lauren Bradford recaps an impressive first-round victory in front of their home crowd against Army.
Panzer Stadium is packed in anticipation of round 1 of the NCAA lacrosse tournament, with Penn State earning hosting rights over Army. Doesn't take long for Hunter Aquino to make the Black Knights feel his presence. The sophomore, who leads the team in goals despite missing games due to injury, tallied a 4-point hat trick in the game.
He's a terrific lacrosse player, obviously, but I think the intangibles of how he infects others around him makes everyone feel a little bit better on the offensive end, brings a ton of energy to the entire team. It was great to have him back out here. He's just made such a significant difference in this stretch.
3-1 after one, 6-3 at the half. Penn State stays steady while maintaining their lead.
I think it was just incremental, like possessions, whether it was off the ground or off the face-off X or getting a stop, and it was just a constant build of momentum, one way or the other, and it was just important where guys stayed the course.
The Nittany Lions stymie all late-game momentum from Army to hold on for the 10-6 win.
It's good to get away with a win in the first-round playoffs against a really good team, so it's nice to be able to say we got a win without playing perfect, but yeah, I mean, every single game, you got to learn from it.
After an up-and-down season, Penn State strings together a 4-game win streak when it's most crucial. After all, at this point, it's win or go home.
And without those losses early in the year, I don't think we'd be here today, so it sucked to go through it, but I think it taught us a lot. I mean, by no means was today perfect either. It's not like we were just flawless out there, so we still got a lot of work to do.
The reward for their opening round win? A meeting with top-ranked Princeton, a team Penn State defeated 13-7 back in February.
I know we already played Princeton beginning of the season, got a good win against them, but that was the first game of the season. They're a whole different new team. Great players, great system now, so just got to believe in our process. Another hard week of practice, and we'll be good.
Lauren Bradford for Nittany Game Week.
Thank you, Lauren. As for the women's lacrosse team, they exit the NCAA tournament with a first-round setback to 6th-ranked Stanford. The Lions finished the year with 12 wins and an entire handful of close losses to top 10 programs. In fact, 5 top 10 ranked losses heading into the first round of the NCAA tournament against Stanford, 3 of them decided by just 1 goal. Stanford, another close one. Penn State actually leads at halftime 5-4, but it was all Cardinals the rest of the way. Stanford keeps PSU off the scoreboard for the entirety of the second half, win in the end 7-5. And it's a solid first year for head coach Kayla Traynor, who says her first season with the program has been a fun one and proud to be leading the blue and white.
I've just had an absolute blast with this team and working at Penn State and the people that I get to work with. I mean, we have a dream staff, and the players and just the community. It's just kind of everything I've always dreamed of working in an environment where it feels like professional sports. Just between the facilities, the commitment they have to athletics at Penn State is like no other. And I'm really, really grateful to be at Penn State.
And to add to Trainer's successful track record, her team's impressive 2026 campaign included a hot 9-0 start to the season that matched the 1989 team. And also, with those 12 wins we talked about earlier, the first time since 2017 to that tally. It feels safe to assume that the women's lacrosse program will elevate another step next season.
Definitely on the rise, that is for sure. As for the softball team, they post another 30-plus win campaign this spring. That's 4 of the past 5 seasons, reaching the 30-win mark. Perhaps more impressively, PSU posts double-digit conference wins for a 5th consecutive year. That's the longest stretch for that accomplishment in program history. The high point is the upset of their nemesis, Northwestern, in the Big Ten tournament at the University of Maryland. First victory against the Wildcats in 15 years. Once again, they're led by a potent offense, solid from top to bottom in the lineup. PSU slugs a team record 84 home runs, scores 377 runs. That raises the new mark for most ever that was set just last year.
1-0 every time, right? The results don't matter, whether it's in at-bats, whether it's out on defense. We just have to stay the course, be all in on the process.
Singular in their focus, the offense reaches double digits in 18 games, including the 11-5 win over Northwestern in the Big Ten tourney. We move to a slightly bigger diamond. And the baseball team, they wrap up the regular season this weekend with an away series at Maryland. They are on the outside looking in right now for the Big Ten tournament, but making a push thanks to a solid series versus Washington. This is action from senior day. They use solid pitching and defense to blank the Huskies 4-0. Now we skip to earlier this week at Pitt. Offense gets a power surge as they had 5 home runs in this game against the Panthers, and includes these back-to-back jacks from Spencer Barnett and then Avery Smith after him. Kind of been the story this season. When the offense produces, the Lions don't get a quality pitching performance, and when the pitching and defense is there, they struggle to push enough runs across. Final regular season game is Saturday with the Terps. Up next, talk about your random acts of kindness. Former PSU defensive standout Dennis Sutton conducts his very own media meet and greet in Green Bay. Why he introduces himself to everyone around his locker at Packers minicamp. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
NASCAR returns to Pocono Raceway on June 14th, and tickets are going fast. Tickets are going fast. And tickets are going fast. Visit PoconoRaceway.com to lock in your seats today. I can't wait to see you at the Tricky Triangle this summer.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. It's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. The smallest deed is better than the greatest intention. Former Penn State defensive lineman Dennis Sutton is now a member of the Green Bay Packers. And thanks to one random act of kindness, Denai endears himself to the media members covering the players and the fans that follow the team.
Carson, nice to meet you, Carson. John, Jim, how you doing?
He's trying to make a living not being kind to quarterbacks. On his first day at Packers minicamp, Dennis Sutton refuses to answer questions. That is, until he either says hello or shakes the hand of every media member around his locker. It's a gesture that impresses a sometimes jaded group, with several calling him a class act afterwards. Packers fans appreciate players of high character in their community and also notice Dennis Sutton's introduction. As for the questions themselves, Denai says he's aware of the long line of great defensive players that have worn the Packers colors.
I knew I was going to be coming here, and I was super excited. Obviously, there's a tradition of defensive players. Obviously, Mike is here. Everybody knows that. But just the lineage of defensive players here. So I was super excited.
He will surely follow the lead of another former Penn State star, Micah Parsons, who reached out to him as soon as the pick was official.
Obviously, he's come back to Penn State a couple times, but I've talked to him just trying to get some advice already, but he'll be here soon, and I'm sure we'll get a lot closer then.
And over to wrestling, we head to the international stage. Levi Haynes continues exactly how he finished the season with Penn State, with dominance, now at the Pan Am Games held in Iowa. The Central Pennsylvania native captures gold in the 79-kilogram category and incredibly gave up only 2 total points across his gold medal run. This from the final and was no different. No points given up. You blink, you may miss it. Well, not exactly, but in a rapid one. Minute 6 seconds to be exact. Beats Colombia's Joan Rodriguez 10-0 to claim the Pan Am title. Haynes says it's huge for the sport of wrestling being able to compete on the international stage in the United States.
You see how big our college wrestling fan base is, and then you come to some international tournaments and maybe it's not so big, so I think it could be really beneficial to get some more of these tournaments in the United States and try to draw some of that college crowd into the international wrestling and then just continue to build from there.
Lock in that first Pan Am gold for Haynes, and now we'll move towards making a push to the senior USA team for the 2026 World Championships. The women's volleyball team is choosing Texas to play in a high-profile preseason exhibition tournament at the home of the Dallas Cowboys in late August. $1 million is the prize pool that is the largest in women's college sports. Penn State, Nebraska, Florida, and SMU will be part of the first Spikes Under the Lights exhibition. Semifinal contest will be announced at a later date. On August 27th, though, the 4 schools will play at AT&T Stadium. Each program receives a whopping $200,000 appearance fee, with the other $200,000 handed out depending on the final results. The women already have a match set up with Kentucky at Wrigley Field in Chicago on September 6th. Up next, our Impact interview with lacrosse head coach Jeff Tambroni. The men have a rematch with Princeton. A berth in the Final Four is at stake. What coach appreciates about this year's squad just ahead. Nittany Game Week returns after this.
Good morning.
Door installed. Let's show these guys how it's done.
No, wait.
All part of the plan.
Taking doors off, putting doors back on. What a world.
So I just gotta come back tomorrow and finish the trim.
There's a reason West Shore Home is America's most trusted home remodeler.
That looks good.
West Shore Home, remodeling reimagined.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
We are back on Nittany Game Week. The men's lacrosse team is one of the few teams still together at this point of the season. Now only 3 wins from a national championship. Had a chance to ask head coach Jeff Tambroni what makes this year's team unique. And he tells us why their mindset will not stray from concentrating on this week's opponent.
Look, for Princeton, they're going to talk about, hey, we're a different team than we were on Valentine's Day 3 months ago. But, fact is, so are you guys. And teams really grow during a season. So I guess the psychological advantage of taking the field against a team you've already beaten during the year, and then what areas of your team has really grown in those 3 months of the season as well? Because I know everybody has.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great question, and I think the advantage it goes both ways. It's an advantage and a disadvantage. Like anytime you go in there and you play against someone that you've beaten, certainly you garner certain confidence from that. So I think that is a positive. At the same time, if we've gone in there and we've lost to someone, man, it's an easy way to just generate emotion and momentum going into the game because you don't want to see it happen again. So you have their attention immediately. So I think there's both plus and minus, advantage, disadvantage in that. But I think both teams have grown significantly, and I think we have learned certainly from our Princeton win the first time around and others. But I would say we've learned equal parts from the games that we've lost. Most of it is just preparing more consistently. I don't think we've changed significantly as a team. I just think we've prepared more consistent with more purpose as the season has gone on in an attempt to try to eliminate, so many of the high peaks and low valleys of our play, both in game and from week to week. So hopefully one of the things that we can implement and do a better job of this time around is just be more consistent from start to finish. Hopefully be prepared to play the game that we're capable of, just our potential. And there's two teams out there. We can't control their play, but we can control how hard we play, how well we play. But most importantly, what I hope we'll do is take the lesson of consistency and apply that to this weekend's contest.
There's some teams that will look at getting to the quarterfinals and say, hey, we're just one win from the Final Four. And then there's others that'll look at it and say, hey, we're 3 wins from the national championship. I think it's a little bit easier to put that mindset into a group that just was at the Final Four, a lot of them that way. How have you kind of been dealing, you and the staff, been implementing that particular mindset with this team, when it comes to, the Final Four is great, but that's not the ultimate destination, and keeping that mindset going?
Yeah. So we've tried 2 things very, very actively on this. And number one is just try to narrow the focus of our guys to 2 teams, to Penn State and Princeton. That's it. And I think it's important for our guys to just think more honestly about Penn State, because it's what we can control, how hard we play, how focused we are in meetings. So we've started there, and we've worked hard every day to start every meeting, to start every practice with what's important today. Like, if we're not going to win on Sunday, let alone think about the Final Four national championship, unless today is productive. So we've tried to actually narrow it, not even to think about, well, what if we win here or win the next 2 or 3 games, whatever the case may be. Knowing our team and where we've been throughout the course of the year, we are just much better with smaller patches of real estate in front of us and trying to manage that. And we've learned that from some of our early season losses. So I think at the end of the day, these guys are really good if it's a smaller goal, smaller kind of a waypoint, so to speak, that we can look out to, and that is honestly today at 3:00. That'll be it. Just can we win today by being more productive, by playing hard, by sticking true to who we are, and if that's the case, well, let's get up tomorrow and figure out where we went wrong, where we went right, and then do it again or do it better, whatever the case may be.
Just lastly, from my perspective, look, you want these things to run out all the way, of course. And that's, you want 3 more games to be with this group, that type of stuff. But, you know how this works. You get to this time of the year and time is limited no matter what, even if you reach that goal. So this particular group, what kind of group have you been dealing with? What are the things that you appreciate about them as people and kids? And, whether it's they're a little bit more goofy than the last couple of groups, a little bit more serious, whatever. Give us some insight as to what you guys enjoy when you're around this group.
So I know I've been a head coach for 26 years, and it's my perspective continues to change in a good way. The kids stay the same. I think, you hear sometimes the narrative of, the kids these days, they've changed. And I don't necessarily agree or buy into that. I think, we as coaches, we as parents tend to change a little bit in terms of our expectations on these young men and young women. I have 3 daughters. But I think for the most part, they're, 18, 19, they're very impressionable. They do want direction. But as young men, sometimes they'll push back a little bit to figure out, how far they can go, which is a good thing. That's what they should be doing at that age. But I have enjoyed, and I think my perspective, the older I get, seems to be a little bit wiser in terms of who they are and what they need. And I need them as much as they need, hopefully, us as a coaching staff. And this group it's super close, I would say, off the field, which I think has proved to be a extremely valuable asset on the field. I think when you go through good times, your relationships off the field are not necessarily as relevant because you're enjoying success every day, and everybody wants to be a part of that. I think you're truly tested when things aren't going that well on the field, and I think it's a testament and a credit to this group and how tight they are off the field. It is truly a group that has invested in one another. We have really pushed hard, definitely around our facility, to get off their phones, to invest in each other, to figure out ways, more creative ways to have conversations, to play hacky sack, to just continue to bond as human beings need that sense of belonging. And I do think, honestly, it's paid off. And I think these guys have really become close, not just because of that, but because of their experiences, because of the culture that they're a part of and they're creating. So I would say it's been a lot of fun. I would say it's a very tight-knit group from top to bottom. I don't get the sense the quote-unquote chain of command is as widespread as it has been in some years. And in some years, that's a positive because you have a clear-cut leader. This group just has a lot of really good just people. We do have captains, we do have seniors, but I think all in all, it is just a group of guys that really respects each other and feels like every one of them has a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging that has been very productive in the journey thus far.
Best of luck to the men's lacrosse team in Sunday's quarterfinal against Princeton. You can go to nittany-game-week.com for all of our Impact interviews along with other web exclusive content. Don't go anywhere. Still to come, more than 425 golfers expected to pack the Penn State golf courses for a scramble with a mission, fueling cancer research. We'll tell you who the money benefits for heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
Cancer research gets a major boost thanks to a big weekend on the golf course in State College. The 29th annual Coaches vs. Cancer Penn State Golf Tournament tees off Friday, May 29 at the Penn State golf courses. Nittany Lions men's basketball coach Mike Rhodes hosts the event, which raises money and awareness for the American Cancer Society. More than 425 golfers are expected for the 5-person, 18-hole scramble. Since 1995, the Penn State Coaches vs. Cancer chapter has raised more than $5 million. And speaking of other huge accomplishments among Penn State athletes and teams, it's time for a Nittany Game Week Dean's List. We start with softball, where a remarkable season and in turn a solid postseason has led to some Big Ten awards. Allison One-Acre earned a unanimous first-team postseason All-Big Ten selection on top of a unanimous all-freshman team pick. Brianna Hannock joins One-Acre on that freshman team along with second-team honors. Brooke Clausewitz on the second team as well. And lastly, McKenna Young, the team's Big Ten Sportsmanship Award winner. Over to tennis, love to see athletes having success off the court as well. Patricia Grigoras on the women's team, and on the men's side, David Lindsay, Marcus Schumann, and Michael Wright all earn academic all-district honors, highlighting academic and athletic success. And finally, let's shout out some teams. In fact, 21 of them. The Nittany Lions programs who earned a perfect 1,000 academic progress rate score in the 24-25 academic year, according to NCAA. Congrats to all of our student athletes on this week's Dean's List.
It is important to us to bring PSU fans and alumni together with the program and with our Nittany Connect network at nittany-game-week.com. We partner with businesses that support the show and let our viewers know about their great products and professional services. The season is winding down. Just one more episode next week over the airwaves. Access to our content is 24/7, 365. It can all be found at one convenient location, nittany-game-week.com.
And if you're making the trip to watch the men's lacrosse team at the University of Delaware on Sunday, make sure to send us your tailgating pictures. We always finish with some pride pics, so we may see them on next week's show.
Do not forget to show us your spirit. For Ryan, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.
Good morning.
Door installed. Let's show these guys how it's done. No.
All part of the plan. Taking doors off, putting doors back on. What a world.
So I just gotta come back tomorrow and finish the trim.
There's a reason West Shore Home is America's most trusted home remodeler.
That looks good.
West Shore Home, remodeling reimagined.